Homeland and a Black Gemara. We are beginning today a new Masechta called Masechta Avodah Zarah, and in the introduction of the Meiri, he says, actually Tesis here says it as well, and one opinion of Tesis that everything they were talking about in the Gemara here, which is to do with Goyim who are idol worshippers, he said doesn't apply today in our times because our Goyim are not the kind of idol worshippers like the Goyim then who used to bow down to statues, who would burn their children as a Melech. And Melech was taken through between the fire, but there's other ways of sacrifice of children. We don't have that anymore today. So there were layers added onto the Avodah of Avodah Zarah, since this is the most stringent Avodah. If you're Avodah Zarah, you're called Kula. Is so therefore they add layers that we don't want you in any way to assist them in their Avodah Zarah. So this is going to talk about that you're not allowed to do any commerce with them or assist them on their holidays, that special, which we'll learn in a few missions from now what their holidays are, where they go into their churches and they worship their idols. So we don't want you to do business with them. We don't want you to lend them because they are going to either because they're going to use that for their purpose, or they're going to be thankful to their gods that they were able to obtain everything that they was necessary.
Interested in the first places.
Everyone says, why is where does Avodah Zarah come into the Zikin? Why is Masechta Zikin? So he says, because in Masechta Sanhedrin, we discussed some of the laws of Avodah Zarah, so therefore it made sense to have it a segue into Masechta Avodah Zarah and telling us about everything. We have no choice. No. Take one of the why they say the Yeshuas. Says the Mishnah, Lifnei Idei, and right before their holidays, shall Oivdek a Chaver from Goyim, Shloisha Yomim, in fact, 3 days. And this Tana, the Gemara later on will explain that this Tana holds 3 days plus the holiday. Osir losses velosses and money. You're not allowed to do business with them. Machlek is a shaynin like Rabbein Tam and others, and some say Rashi, that Rabbeinu Tam holds that it's only items you're not allowed to do business with them, things to do with Avodah Zarah. And according to Rashi, and the reason is because you'll be using it, you're assisting them, supporting them in their worship. And according to Rashi, it's you're not allowed to do any business with them because they're thankful they made some profit or they bought something they really needed, and you don't want to give them an opportunity to say thank you. Yishama al picha, we had it before, we'll have it again now, and in Chaydas and other places. You don't want, to swear to their gods, nor to say thank you to their gods. Losses is a machlekes v'shainim if it means to sell and to buy. What exactly does losses mean? Is it a one-way or a two-way? In other words, is it only now allowed to sell them? If you look like Rabbein Tam, it's mainly you're not allowed to sell them because they're going to use it for their Avodah Zarah. Right. What about in the base of Medrash itself, in the shul itself, in the English article? It's missing rain all.
Last week I checked the beginning of the week I saw one article people say later some calamity. That was most of the set. I was thinking, no, people are themselves and they have to go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not Russia. It's not Russia.
Okay, so there's another big Gemara there's another big Gemara like this. Sorry. Loss says the man is machlekes. Whether it be, if you learn Rabbein Tam, the main thing we don't want you to provide them with items to use for Avodah Zarah, then it's only you're not allowed to sell to them, command you, but buy for them. Who cares? According to Rashi, the word is that they'll go and they'll give thanks to their gods. Either way, if they sell something that they didn't really want anymore, something, so therefore it goes both ways. Any transaction. Now, same thing is lahash ilon. Now I'll lend them things, nor can you borrow things from them. Lehal some to lend them ulahal voice man. A little bit man borrow from them. Rashi says the difference between sheila and halva, which we have in many places. Halva is when you lend them money. The money, as soon as you lend to them, it's theirs already. They don't have to return to you the same money. In fact, even according to Moses Shainim, said Rashi and Bamitzia, even the money is still present. It's already belongs to the labor. It's not your money. But shaila borrowing is the very same item that you borrowed. You have to return. If you don't, then we have all of these laws, what you have to pay and so on. You can't pay back the loans, nor can you get paid from them. You can't pay back the loans because they're so happy they go thank their gods. Or you're giving them money, providing them money to buy whatever they want to buy. nor can they pay you. Now, why can't they pay you? So in nationalism makes a lot of sense. The reason why they can't pay you is because they feel good that they paid off their loans. As the Gemara said, who disagrees? He says, Nifraim Mehen, you're allowed to get paid from them. There's a major law. On the contrary, you think they're happy paying back the loan? They said, so the Chacham answered back, yes, they are. Maybe not immediately because they just lost whatever it is, but that's the key. The key is a short-term joy or even achazma. Says the Gemara. Now the Gemara will go very technical. We had this in a few times in Shas when they decide how do you read the word in the Mishnah. The average will chatani edain with an aleph. The chatani edain with an ayin. Mandatani edain with an aleph. Let me stop if I'm making a mistake. Mandatani edain with an ayin. Let me stop. Mandatani with an aleph. Let me stop if I'm making a mistake. We have a pasuk. It said the pasuk he karev yom edom, the day of their holiday. So the thrust of the Mishnah is that you're not allowed in any way support the goyim during their holidays 3 days prior, and nor can you do any mekach memcha with them. Where Rashi learns because they'll thank their gods because of you. So 3 days prior to the holiday, so 3 days plus the holiday, and we'll talk more about that when we get to the next Mishnah, and then what do you call it? Nor can you borrow and lend. Can't do any of these things because they're going to be very thankful to the gods. The main thrust of here is that we don't want to support them in any way to help them do the Avodah Zarah, like give them money for their Avodah Zarah, and so that they can buy things. You can't do that. You can't do business because of Avodah Zarah. It's a machlekes rishonim if losses is selling and buying or just selling, because it says losses to pick up and losses to give. Where does it say taking? So some rishonim hold it's only one way. Talking about selling to them because with Remain Tamlin, you're giving them. Helping them out with Avodah Zarah, or even Rashi, they're happy that they got what they wanted. But they just show him hold that buying is not a problem. Others say that buying is also a problem, but which is they say Rashi learned that way, and then Achreim try to figure out where to say that in Rashi. But that buying and selling, because if they do well in business or if you have much interaction with them at the time, they are going to. What do you call it? Be thankful to their gods for whatever it is. So Taisa really wants to know, so how come today we don't follow these rules? So Taisa gives 3 answers. One answer is Ava. Ava is could believe amongst the goyim, and you don't want to antagonize the goyim. And then Taisa is not happy with that. So who said you have to buy? Who said the reason why you're not buying is because you're boycotting them and so on? You're not buying because you don't need the item right now. So where does Ava come into everything? Some things may be Ava, but something where does Ava come in? So Taisa's second answer, which is what the medium also trying to say, is that today's goyim are not Avodah Zarah like then, and this is talking about yesteryear. This is talking about the pagans and all that Avodah Zarah had then. Today's goyim don't have that kind of Avodah Zarah. Say it again.
You go to Asia, actually, India.
Okay, but it's true, But they're talking more about the media. If you're going to love the media, it's more about would they have a depraved way of serving Avodah Zarah, burning their children for Avodah Zarah, which you don't have at all, and therefore the way the media rewards it. Looking at media today, we have civil laws, and the goyim themselves don't allow that in their countries. So as if to say he's not shel complete Avodah Zarah, shel more the crazy things that they do than Haga exactly. That therefore maybe these Gedorim don't add on. Now, why there should be a difference one way or another? It's not so clear, but that's what seems from that's his focus on the depraved nature of their thing. In fact, we had a Gemara. The reason why the Eden became Avodah Zarah is so that in order that they can have immorality and behave promiscuously, because that was the particular Avodah Zarah. That how do you worship their idol, but behaving in a very immoral way. So there's more to it than just that. Okay. Then Taisa gives a third shot. That is a difference between goyim that you know and goyim that you don't know. Goyim that you don't know, you have to keep away even today. Goyim that you know, you want to become. We need goyish friends, so therefore you want to interact with them in a positive way. Anyway, so Gemara having a discussion on Edain with an aleph with an ayin, and the Gemara said they're both not wrong, and each one has a pasuk based on pasuk. The first word line. Mandatani with an aleph, which I make say it said the pasuk kikarev yom edom. That was that the day of their holidays coming close, but edom also means the day of the destruction. Well, Mandatani Edain with an ayin. Let me say either. So it said pasuk yitnu edain that these Avodah Zarah will actually give them Avodah Zarah will give them edus against them. They're all going to gather together. And they will tell them, and they will give edus, and they will justify and they'll hear and they'll say what happened and they'll say emes. So they're both good. And these Avodah Zarah will say, "Hey, that you serve me." Says the Gemara. My time will tell you, Tavra Adib, Idain also means to break, and that's a much better word to use for their Avodah Zarah, that it should break them, it should be broken. My time will tell you why Taka do we break the Avodah Zarah? Because Eidos Shahida Ba'atzman, because they themselves will testify what happened. So therefore it all starts. Don't look at the outcome, look at the cause, the ayin. You're telling you how Yitnu. You tell me this possible Yitnu Edain will give the testimony, and then it says possible Yatzdiku and they'll justify what happened. But it's talking about Goyim. It's talking about Eden. Any mitzvah that a Yid does in this world, and actually a lot of how I got it. Very nice I got it about these kind of things. Any mitzvah he does. But a boy should be eaters but the very mitzvahs, they will come up to the practice, will go upstairs and they'll testify on your behalf. And it says Yitnu Edem, that they are going to give the testimony, the Yitzhak, and they'll give them and they'll be masking them. And Eli Yisrael to Yidden. Says you're right, but the lesser of the passage where it says the Yishmu v'Yemru Emes Elu Egu Chazan. That's the going. So that's not the answer. And they're going only in the last part of the passage, but they can agree with it. So I think to do that way to do.
They'll justify the good of the
Yid. Exactly. He learns it from here. The pasuk they go ahead and they fashion out their Avodah Zarah, and it's all empty. And the chamudeim and all of the desires, Baal Ya'ilu won't help them. The edeim and the hema, and they will come ahead and testify. So therefore, we see the Avodah Zarah itself will come and testify that these guys worship me, these guys worship me. So that's why it's an ayin. Maybe it's an amazing Gemara. The Gemara is telling us now what's going to happen in detail, precisely when Mashiach will come. Anybody who observed my Torah, come and get your chat. This chat. All they're going to come all mixed in the throngs that come in. They want a chelish. And it says, all the goyim gather together and they go gather and they say, what's going on here. I'm not going to David said 1 second. I'll take this upon about Ruvia. Don't come in all mixed together. Is called each one come separately so you can hear your case and say your case, state your case. This Seifreha and it's Chachamim. Interesting that in Gemara Kedushin we learned that the reason why our Talmidei Chacham are called Seifrim is because they count the letters of Sefer Torah. And they were called Goyim. Their experts were calling them Seifreha. It's Rashi says the Chachameha. Anyway, remember to the pasuk, the Asalumim, that they all gathered together. Okay, then the Ein L'Oim Ela Malchus. It's a kingdom. Remember it says, L'Oim Miloim Yemetz. All right, that the Rivka was told that you have one kingdom and another kingdom, and they're going to fight each other. The Gemara Umika Hu because Baruch was able to all mixed up. They doesn't know who's who. Doesn't recognize each nation. Ella not for his benefit, for their benefit. They should all mix together. The Lishmu. Each one can have their own conversation with the Rebbeinu Shalom. Each one will have a different conversation. Nope. So who comes in first? First comes Malchus Reim. My time is the Chashiva. Malchus Reim is the most chashiv of them all. Umenol the Chashiva. How do you know that they were the most chashiv of them all? It says by Daniel, and when he's describing the dream, he says the 4 chayes there. It says about Teichel, and the 4 chayes represent the 4 countries: Yavon and Babel, and Paras, which we're talking about on the agenda today, and Rome. But it says that Teichel Kol Ara, that the Rome will eat an entire world, with Tadoshna, and it will thresh on it, with Tadoshna, and press it and crush it. So therefore, Vatechel Kol Ara, it's Rome. This is Roimi Harosha, before the Chayev. Shativa, its name is Yatsa B'Chala Olam. Its name, others say, means its coin. Its currency is used around the whole world, or Tiva means its name. Its name goes out in the entire world. The Gemara, who said, okay, so let's say Rome is the most chashiv, the most oppressive, the most, the prolific. But who said that they just because of that should be first? How do you know that the first ones to come? Whenever you have a court case, and you have a king who has to be tried, and you have a community, entire community, a melech is greater than a tzibur. Forget about any individual. Even the entire tzibur doesn't equal to a melech. Melech Nicholas Ladin, he goes first. Now it says, Moshe Melech said, La says Mishpat Abdoi Mishpat Amoy. First, you take care of the Mishpat Abdoi, which is Shlomo Melech. He's asking the Eibishter, and then in Mishpat Amoy, then the people. You see, a Melech comes before a Tzibur. I'm Yisrael. But time of my why Taka should the king come first? He's only individual. Iba is ema other kimazogan that lav oidach ada lemesiv alkaroy pasnish that the king has not even covered Hatzibur. So the Tzibur themselves would like the king to be first because it's pasnish for the king to be just like standing out there waiting like everybody else. Or Iba is ema the king when he hears all the other cases, or a judge when he hears so many cases. After a while, you get emotionally involved and you get in a bad mood. And then the person who gets tried later on in the day, he gets the raw end of the stick. So therefore, it's not fair. Mekame delay for Shcharanah, or David gets too angry. Let him be first. Oh my God, Baruch HaMasach, David says to Rome, no, what do you guys do with your living? Unbelievable. They said, it's the very same thing that the Machlekes Shimon in Shabbos about, whether we should thank the Roman or not. Yeah. So Haba Shvakim Tekninu, we made many marketplaces. Haba Mechatzoy, we made many bathhouses. Harbe Kesev Zov Hibinu, we made much silver and gold. The coolest in Israel. Everything was altruistic. We only did it for the benefit of the Eden. Today, she's Asku B'Tayla. Interesting, it doesn't say today she's Asku B'Tayla B'Mitzvahs or Asku Mitzvahs. They themselves realize that Torah is the most important thing, and therefore we did everything to enable them they should sit and learn Torah. Who are you trying to fool there? Kol Masha Sisim was for your own benefit. Tikantin Shvokim, you made this marketplace in Loisha Ben Zoinus, so you can make money there through Zoinus. Merchat says you had bathhouses, Laad and Ben Aschan, so that you can take care of yourself and enjoy yourself. Kesev Azov Shalio, and the silver and gold is mine anyway. She never says Liha Kesev, Liha Azov, no Hashem. Hashem says Svokas. Klum Yesh Bachem Magid Zois, in the Pasuk it says that they all get together, and the Pasuk continues, Mi Bahem Yagid Zois, who amongst you Yagid Zois, could tell me this, what's this? It says, "Me bechem yagid zois, ve'in zois lo Torah." Who amongst you learned Torah? It says, "There's a Moshe. There's a Torah that Moshe placed before them." Zois is a Torah, exactly. Did you guys learn Torah in your whole lifetime? No. Yad yotzu b'chinafit. They go out there very broken because they have nothing to say to defend themselves. Yotza Malchus Remi, so Rome, the king goes out, and V'nichas Malchus Paras comes in Iran. Achara, my timer. Why are they next? Why is Iran or Paras, Persia next? The Chashiva Basra, because they're the second most Chashiv. Manola, how do you know that? But the Chsiv, it says that Va'aru Chayva, that after the Chayash, the middle one, Domi Ladoim. The second one is going is the middle one, the second one is similar to a bear. And which country is that referring to? We're symbolizing with Torah Yosef, Elu Parsim, these are the Persians. Sha'oichlin v'shaisin kedoif, they eat like a bear. You can, I guess, eat a lot. They're very hairy. A bear has a lot of fat, and they're very, very hairy, like a bear. And they grow thick hair like a bear. They can't sit still. They're like a bear that run around the whole time. So that's what it is. Yeah. So as Rashi says, a bear cannot be is restless, cannot sit still in one place. A lion just sits. If you go to a zoo, the lion is sitting there half time to sleep. They do nothing. A bear cannot sit restless, cannot sit still. Taisus asked an interesting question. Taisus wants to know the king of animals is a lion, not a bear. What do you make such a big deal out of a bear for? So Taisus says, and who's compared to a lion? Mouth with Bubble. So shouldn't Bubble be second? So Teja says that even though the lion is the king of the animals, the bear is much stronger and much more cunning. So I actually look, sorry? Tarboil is also full of scheming. Oh, it's also stronger. Not only chutzpah, it's stronger. I looked at Google last night just out of curiosity. There would be a fight between the bear and the lion, who would win? And Google said, without quoting Taisus, definitely a bear. Because it's much more, even though a lion is more agile, a bear is far stronger. It's pure strength and cunning. It's cunning. It's cunning. He has a strategy. Not just go straight. And a lion, even though it's more agile, the lion will always lose. Well, very upsetting. He didn't quote Tosis, but
Tosis didn't quote Google.
And in America and a lot of countries, like Canada, you're not allowed to touch a bear there, so they can come in the back of your house and do all these things and
Danger.
yeah, endangered. Yeah. But when they stand up, you see how big they are. Okay. Says the Moravite. Okay, so the same story. The Persians not came today, but it's the same thing. What's going about us? Okay. Sorry. Second. The first one line. What do you guys occupy yourself with? I mean, look how many bridges we made. How many cities we conquered. How many wars we made. I can explain the ones going on now. We did it all for the Bnei Yisrael. Today she's asku b'Torah in order that they can sit and learn Torah peacefully and not worry about their enemies or anything else. What's after China? You did it for your own benefit. To counting shodim, so you can have take taxes, or paying a fee, a toll. Krochim, Lasim and Mangaria. You took these cities because you need employees and workers and soldiers, so you conquer all these cities. Muhammad's Aniyas, tell me Muhammad, you did, I do Muhammad. And it says, Hashem ish Muhammad, I cause all the wars to happen. So what's happening right now is Klor, all the Nissim and the Floyd, I don't know if you heard, that the hospital pumped the day before decides to get everyone out of that. I mean, it's amazing. I'm often in this to go everyone out of that ward over there because it says it's not strong enough. That's where the missile hits. Kulum yesh bechem magid zois. Can any of you say zois? And it says mi bechem yagid zois. Same pasuk. But ain't zois over Torah. Zois on Moshe. Meyad Yosef father bechem. If those came, went out in despair. What can they do? So depressed. What can they do? So the Gemara v'chimaach had the chazis malchut paras. The malchus reimid lemahanya lemidi after malchut paras saw the room conversation going. Hopefully, why do they think they do any better? My time at Isla. Why do you bother going in? Amri inu sasir base of English, that we're better. At least we didn't destroy the base of English. The Romans, they destroyed the second base of English. Banan Banina, Kodesh, help build the base of English. If I can't, we have some kudos. So maybe we'll get some credit. Every nation. My time island. So the other nations, why did they bother going and having a discussion? They already saw that the two leading nations failed. So they thought, the fact is that they gave Eden a hard time. So we never gave Eden a hard time, and they never served us. So maybe we should get Cheding Ram Haba. So why are these two considered the most chashuv and the only names that we mentioned? The rest of the nations we don't even know who the names are. Why Pum Paras and Rome they mentioned? From the Hanach Moshchi b'Mechusayu ad Osa Mashiach. That these two nations are going to exist until Mashiach comes. Iran. What's Pshat Roimi? There's a beautiful Evan Ezra in Tehillim. In the page, you look up, you have a chance. On Al Naro's Bovel, it says I just say and it's from Al Edom. So Evan long Evan Ezra, he says all those who think that Reim is Edom are making a mistake. And you just have to read it because it's against everything that we always think. No, it says there. It says there. Yeah. Just read the evidence there and that second bit. Yeah. Anyway, so still Ados and Mashiach. The Ritva, another Shem talk about that. Says in other places that the Paras won't beat the Mashiach. So he says there'll be a war before Mashiach comes, and they'll disappear before Mashiach comes. Right before Mashiach comes. So maybe this is about today. Maybe it'll help it happen today. Did you give us a Torah and then we didn't say no? How can they say that? But see, it says the pasuk there in Zayis Baruch Hashem Sinai, Hashem came from Sinai. The Zorach Messiah Lamay, and he began to shine, radiate from Messiah. And the other pasuk says, see, the guy from different places, the south, different place altogether. My boy would say, my boy would put what you doing all these places. It comes to teach you that she went to every single nation and every language, they weren't makablet. Ad Shabbat Eitz Yisrael until he came to the Eden, they were makablet. So how can they have the chutzpah to give it offered us a chance? And each one the Abish told them what it says in their, in the Sigza, the Sitzach, and knowing that this is the most challenging thing for them, and they said nothing. So everybody asks. The Abish did not tell the Eden what their most challenging thing is. Every nation, Abish said it's a Sigza, it's a Sitzach. Eden didn't say that. So I forgot what maybe it's Meshach says. So he said that the most difficult thing for a Yid is to be Kabbalah. They need to, they're all cup mentioned, cerebral people throughout the generations. And when the Eden screamed at Nasav and Ishma, that was the challenge. That was the challenge David gave us. Are you prepared to make Kabbalah without understanding? Because as a Yid, you have to understand, and that's why you can have the most left in the organizations, and every movement in the world is always started by Yidden and challenging everything that people understood till now, and they challenge all the foundations that we have. So Nasav and Ishma, that was our challenge, and we managed it very well. We're better than Eden. At least we didn't accept the Torah. They took a Torah, they didn't keep it. And that's why you should break them. So the Gemara, so we're going to ask a question. It's a question. And this is their answer. But the fact is you didn't have a Torah. David even came to you and asked you if you wanted a Torah. It's not fair. You didn't think to threaten the Lake Kibalnu. You threatened had nobody. Did you threaten us? Like you did to Eden, see what said the Pasuk. He stood beneath the mountain. He said, the Abel turned around the mountain like a barrel. He saw on the Eden bomb. He said to him, someday could ask him. As the Pnei doesn't want to say here, the Eden he said Nasa Nishma. Why you have Kafel and Chagigis? So this is the difference Torah Shabbat and Torah Shabbat Peh. They were Makabel Torah Shabbat. They were not Makabel Torah Shabbat Peh. For that you needed Kafel. Chassidus says that Kafel and Chagigis means that he showered them with love, and from Maila as well. After Eden said Nasa, and he said, let's hear the first ones that I gave you. Do you listen to them? No, but the Zayin Mitzvah B'nai Noach, like we learned about Kamal 6. It says, but did you listen to the first mitzvah I gave you? You want 613? I gave you 7. Yeah, 7 mitzvahs. Did you keep the 7 mitzvahs I gave you? When on like I know they didn't keep them. The translation says, he measured the land, the Ra, he saw Vayitar, and he saw Vayitar Goyim. And he saw Vayitar Goyim, he saw that he had to be matted for the Goyim. What's he talking about? Matter what? Permit what? My Ra, what did he see? Ra Zay Mitzvah Kibalayim, Benelek So the Zay Mitzvah, the Makabal that didn't fulfill them. Kimush Kaimam, and he took away the Zay Mitzvah. They don't have any more Zay Mitzvahs Benelek. He is good, he is good. So by not behaving, they get benefit, they don't have to keep it anymore. The sinner benefited. To tell you that even though they're mekayim the zayin mitzvahs, a mekabel they don't get the benefit. No, what they have zayin mitzvahs, they have no schar. This is like the highest madregesh. Shaloya manas the kabel pras. But time you learned Meir said that we had Sanhedrin menayin shefil gechavash v'toy. If a guy learns Torah, shulke kohen gadol. If a guy learns Torah at the time, he's like a kohen gadol. That it says in the pasuk sheyasa oisa ha'adam. That who should do the Torah? Ha'adam, and v'chai behem you live them. Who's ha'adam? Kohen in Israel. Doesn't say kohen in Israel. Ela ha'adam, any person. Holy mother comes to teach you shafilu oived gechav magoy. But oisa b'toyim learns Torah. Harei hu kohen gadol. Even if a guy learns Torah, he's just like a kohen gadol. Teishrei discusses maybe with Shabbos in the beginning the difference between Adam and Ha-Adam. You would think, by the way, without traces, that Ha always hey, the principal hey is always very specific. Ha-Isha, we say, and here takes that Adam would be only Eden. Ha-Adam includes anyone. They do get schar, but not the same reward as a mitzvah v'isa. The Amar B'chinim said, "Gadol hamitzvah v'isa yosef misheina mitzvah v'isa." I want that even greater than a mitzvah than a mitzvah v'isa. And why is that? Because when you know, it's like the big argument they have in the world today. What's better, a volunteer or a paid employee? on the one hand, volunteers, and so they like everything else. But on the other hand, the moment it gets too hard, they just walk away. A paid employee has no choice to walk away; he has to go through it. Plus, as Taisa says here, and a bit more in Kedushin, that when you have to do it, you're tense, you're anxious, and that itself is a stumbling block. So therefore, you have to work harder. And yeah, there is hard for going, but there's more for this. And there's more for his. And we'll stop over here and continue with Shabbos at 7 o'clock.